What's going on, everyone? Isaac Edelman here on FL Teams, and today I'm going to be joined by two guests from the Next Network, my good friends Josh Berman and Michael Mirskiy. Two Raven fans. I got a Dolphin fan here. Nothing better than previewing an NFL game. We like to call this behind enemy lines, right? Two perspectives,
Mm.
Dolphin fan perspective and a Raven fan perspective to preview the Ravens Dolphins week 2 game. Look, these two teams faced each other last year. Dolphins won. It was a surprising upset win. This year, things could change. Josh, we'll start with you. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. Last year, one of my least favorite games in the last few years, to be totally honest with you. I mean, that game last year was humiliating. It was disgusting to watch, embarrassing. Um, and but this year, these are two really interesting teams. And I was talking about it today in school. I think that this game is a very big test for the Ravens and the Dolphins. I think this is a test for both teams to kind of see where they're at. I think both teams had a solid week 1 performance. I think the Dolphins outplayed the Ravens in week 1, but I think they both, regardless, played pretty solid games. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see kind of where both these teams are at, facing much better competition in week 2.
And that's what we'll break down.
Very intrigued.
Exactly. Michael, how are you doing?
I'm good, Isaac. I'm good. Obviously, I was at. I don't know why this is obvious. It's not obvious. I was at the last Ravens Dolphins game, as were you. First time I met Isaac Edelman in person, and definitely not the last. And that was, obviously disappointing, gut wrenching loss for the Ravens. I mean, it was one of the best experiences I've had as a Ravens fan, just because I get to go to an away game. Not many people do too often, and I mean that's the only regular season away game I've ever been to. But I thought this is a little bit unrelated. Obviously, this game's in Baltimore, but in Miami, I just thought that environment was very good. So the last time these two teams played, Isaac, I mean it was ugly, but as you mentioned, big surprise. Dolphins won it, and this game this week is shaping up to be even better.
Yeah. And you know what? Obviously, this game's not on national TV. It's not Thursday Night Football.
No.
But there's not really that many changes. I mean, the quarterback situation's the same. I mean, Jacoby Brissett started the game, but yes, Tua played. Lamar Jackson's obviously going to play. Besides Marquise Brown, I mean, and I guess maybe the Ravens running back room, these offenses and defenses are similar. Would you agree? At least on the Dolphins side.
Offense is very different.
Well, Waddle, besides Tyreek Hill, Waddle was there, and Waddle was most of the offense. The running game a little different, but in terms of what Tua and the defense did, remember the Dolphins' defense was what gave the Ravens problems last year.
Yes, and the defense is pretty much the same.
Yeah, Dolphins' defense is very similar. Yes.
Yeah. I guess we could start off at this, and this is an interesting question, and I guess we could start discussing over it right away. Josh, we'll start with you. Lamar Jackson and Tua. Let's just have that QB matchup. Preview it.
Well, I mean, there's obviously a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson, but I think that's really the question. When you look at Lamar against this Dolphins defense, I expect their strategy defensively is going to be pretty much exactly the same, unless if the Ravens can figure it out.
Yeah.
Because they literally ran one play against the Ravens about 50 times, and it worked. So while I don't think that would ever work on anyone 2 years in a row, I think they're going to try it, and until it doesn't work, that's the strategy, because clearly it worked in incredible fashion last year. And we'll see what Lamar can do. I mean, getting the ball out quick, getting guys like Bate involved, who they did at the end of that Dolphins game last year. And I want to see how they get Bate going this year. Andrews as well is a guy that was not really involved very much against Miami last year. So that's another guy I'm just looking at. It's going to be very interesting. Hopefully J.K. Dobbins can go. He was not able to play week 1. I think it's definitely a question mark for week 2. I expect Marcus Peters to play, who was not there in week 1 on the defensive side. But offensively, I think there's definitely the question. Then for Tua, I think the Dolphins' offense looks very explosive in week 1 against New England. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, 2 of the 5 fastest receivers in the NFL, and Tyreek is being the fastest receiver in the NFL. So I think the Ravens have speed, but obviously it's going to be tough to keep up with him. I think a guy like Marcus Williams in his first year at Baltimore is going to be a huge factor because the Dolphins are going to try and throw deep on us. And that guy playing that kind of center fielder type role in Baltimore, he needs to play well. He needs to have his head on the swivel because he's got two guys going deep. Those guys can go fast and they can go real fast, and they're going to be doing it. So Marcus Williams definitely a guy I got my eye on for this game who had a pick in week 1. I love what I saw from him, so you need to see that again.
Michael?
Well, on the Ravens side, I mean, Josh obviously mentioned Marcus Williams. How about the 14th overall pick, Kyle Hamilton, the rookie from Notre Dame, who had a pretty up and down debut
He was
against the
all right.
Jets. He was fine. I mean, he made a tackle, he missed a tackle, he was there, he wasn't there, whatever. He had a good playing coverage, and he dropped, or he didn't drop anything. They could have had a pick also that he didn't come up with.
He has some
It
good
was
moments, he has some bad
it
moments.
was an okay day. I'm not upset as
Me
a
neither.
Ravens fan, with that debut. But I think, as Josh mentioned, you've got guys, and Kai Hamilton, he's not one of those guys that stays over the top. He plays up and goes into the box. You're not going to expect him to fall back. But in this game this week, with, as Josh mentioned, and you mentioned, those speedsters, Waddle, and obviously the fastest player in the NFL being Tyreek Hill, I think Kyle Hamilton's role will really need to expand, and I'm very interested to see what the Ravens do with him because Chuck Clark, who is the other option, I guess, there with Hamilton, besides for Williams, he is also similar, not to the extent where as Hamilton, but he won't always play too far back. He will come up, and that's his main role. But they're going to need both safeties to really be on their game on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. And fun fact, the last time the Ravens played the Chiefs, the Ravens won 36-35. I'm bringing up the Chiefs, which was on September 19th, 2021. Tyreek Hill was held to 3 catches, 14 receiving yards. So,
And that
Anthony
was
Davis came into
that
life.
was Sunday Night Football. That was week 2. It was Anthony Avert now with the Raiders. He was the one that was really wrapping
It's
up
the only
Tyreek
good
Hill
game he
that
played
game.
all year.
yeah.
But you also have to remember that there was no Marcus Peters in that game for Baltimore. So that role, and Marlon Humphrey, did he play?
He played, but he wasn't really on him.
Right, Humphrey. But so Peters would have been the corner there. So they have a corner there to play for Avert.
Exactly. And, one thing that's different about this Dolphins offense is they don't just have Devontae Parker. You shut him down, and the Dolphins offense is just going nowhere because Gaskin couldn't do anything. We now have 2 solid running backs in Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds. We didn't really see a lot of them in week 1 because the offense was just moving and the defense was doing terrific. But, now if Tyreek Hill's shut down, which is always unlikely, but in the case that happens, hey, Jalen Waddle's available, and Cedric Wilson for a wide receiver 3.
Who
How
I
about
like.
Gesicki, the tight end?
Not the best. Well, Gasecki's interesting, and I also want to hear your thoughts on this. I think he's very inconsistent. Had no role in last week's game. Has no role at all in any game in the blocking game.
None.
I don't know.
He's a receiver,
Yes.
essentially.
And you know what? I guess with Tyreek Hill, you don't need to rely on Gasecki that much. So, by the way, this has nothing to do with the Ravens game, but I think he may be traded later in the season.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion about that.
Yeah. Look, let's dive deeper into this game. When you look at it on paper, obviously the Ravens wide receiver room is interesting, but against the Jets, I know this is the Jets. Rashad Bateman did terrific, and Devin Duvernay did terrific. 2 touchdowns. So, Josh, do you expect the Ravens to put up these great numbers again with not the most notable named receivers going up against players like Byron Jones and Xavier Howard?
Well, I want to see Andrews get involved more. I think definitely Duvernay. Duvernay's a guy that I've loved ever since we brought him in, and he finally had a pop-off game in week 1, which was great. I want to see Duve keep going, and I think that he has it in him. Bate is honestly, we had 1 long touchdown, which was awesome to see, but really, I was not very impressed with Rashad Bateman in week 1 because he didn't really do much. I mean, he had a couple drops in there. He had a couple passes that he should have caught. I'm not going to call drops, but ones he could have caught that he didn't.
Yeah.
but I won't call necessarily draft. I think there's only one that I'll just call flat out drop. But so honestly, I want to see more from Bateman. Duvernay played great. I want to see more out of Prochet. He barely played in week 1. And really the only time we even saw him, he got a holding penalty. So I want to see more of James Prochet. And I understand he's a tight end, but Isaiah Likely is another guy who was a non-factor in week 1. I mean, he had a couple targets. I think there were 2 drops in there. He also had a hold. I need to see more out of Likely, but yeah, I don't expect it to be. I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say it's among the worst receiving corps in the NFL. It's right there with Chicago, so
Absolutely.
I think it needs to be improved. But I think I'm okay with Duvernay and Bateman. I just wish we had one more guy.
Yeah. Michael, what do you expect the Ravens to do most of the game? Obviously, when you talk about the running game, you obviously have to include Lamar Jackson scrambling the ball. You expect a lot of passes. Obviously, the Dolphins secondary, in addition to Javon Holland, who really impressed week 1, is kind of scary.
Yeah, so I do expect, because it was interesting, because, I mean, that Jets game in New York was unique in the sense that without Dobbins, without Gus Edwards, they did not rely on their run game. Not just Kenyon
43
Drake and
rushing
Mike
yards.
Davis. Lamar Jackson didn't
Yeah.
run the ball practically at all. I mean, and that's something that's not what we saw.
rushing yards.
Right. That's pretty much the opposite. I mean, the Ravens' game plan was
So easy you've
completely
ever had in Lamar's career.
that game that I was at in Miami was just, I mean, the Ravens seemed confused offensively. I mean, to go with the fact that it was very humid. I mean, it's South
It's
Florida, but
It's gonna be a hot one this year too. By the way,
I'm excited for
humidity
that.
will not be there, but it will be hot.
Well, it's early in the season matchup, so.
Right, I mean, it's
It's still
September. What's gonna be the 16th, 17th, 18th,
Whatever Sunday's date is.
18th, I think. Yes, because the 18th. Yes, because it's a week after the 11th. No, but like it wasn't run heavy at all against the Jets, and if Dobbins is healthy, I expect the Ravens to run the ball a lot more. I don't expect Mike Davis to be a factor at all. I think it's going to be Drake, if anyone, from the running back room. But I mean, I hope that answers your question. They'll be active throughout the year, though. I expect them as well.
Yeah, no, it does answer my question because I agree. The Dolphins' weakness is always their run defense. The Dolphins know how to get to a QB and intercept the ball, but their run defense always concerns me. And Lamar Jackson is definitely going to expose the Dolphins' defense. I said that last year, and he did not. So we'll see what changes. Obviously, the Dolphins have a completely different coaching staff, but obviously the Dolphins watch the tape. They know what went wrong with the Ravens last year, but the Ravens know what went wrong with themselves. At least I hope so.
Greg Roman, you never know.
Exactly. So, look, I want to dive a tad bit deeper. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because it's early in the NFL season. Look, the Dolphins beat the Patriots 20-7. Tua, fairly accurate, threw for 270 yards, threw a touchdown. The ball was a slant to Jalen Waddle. He used his shiftiness and speed to break through for a touchdown. What do you expect out of this Dolphins team, Josh? Obviously, Tyreek Hill is always consistent, had 8 receptions, 94 yards. Jalen Waddle had a touchdown. But the Dolphins running game, which I am excited to see what can happen this year, was slow. Chase Edmonds had 12 rushes, but only 25 yards. That's kind of concerning. Raheem Mostert, 16 yards on 5 carries. But the Dolphins were successful, so it's not a big deal. However, the Ravens are, in my opinion, and I think you guys would agree as a Ravens fan, are far, harder test than the Patriots.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but those division games
are
Yeah.
always tough. And I also think the fact that obviously, I mean, it's a difficult environment in Baltimore. At least a lot more to play than in Miami, where you're at home. So
Yeah, it's not exactly difficult to play at home. Yes,
right, and
that's a good take, Michael. It's a good take. It's harder to play on the road than at home. Michael Mirskiy's bold
yes,
take of the week.
hot take. Yep, absolutely. But um, it's a home opener, and a home opener for any
Oh
team
yeah,
anywhere around
I
the
forgot
league
about that.
is always gonna be, the heat, both literally and figuratively, is gonna be a lot more.
So I'm going to ask you guys what Dolphin fans should expect this week. Obviously, and that's good because I didn't even know that. Yes, this is the Ravens home opener, so Dolphin fans need to
Yeah.
know that coming into the game. Josh, what should Dolphin fans expect week 2?
A close game because I
Okay.
think that as much of a test it is for Miami, and it is just as big of a test for Baltimore because this is a team that we not only should have beat last year, should not have been that difficult, and it was not only was it difficult, it was not difficult for them. It was easy for the Dolphins last year. So while this is a big test for Miami to kind of see where they are with this new team this year, especially offensively, it's just as big of a test for Baltimore and see what kind of team they are this year. And I think it's going to be a very exciting game. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a game that I think the losing team very well could, not necessarily will, but could look back on in January and say, man, we missed the playoffs by one game. What game could have went differently? And they look back at this one. I think it's very possible. Not necessarily likely.
Well, that's
I
what
think
the
it
Ravens said last year.
definitely could happen.
That's what the thought was last year, Josh, after the Dolphins game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh, high scoring or low scoring?
Middle. I don't think it's gonna be either. I don't think either teams. I don't think it's gonna be a shootout. I don't think it's gonna be a low scoring game. But I think it's gonna be kind of just a standardized type of scoring game. I think it's gonna be along those like just 27, 24, 28, 23. Games like that.
Yeah, you're being very.
I don't think either team is gonna. I don't think we're gonna see a shootout. I don't think we're gonna see either team struggle though either.
Yeah. Well, for me, and this is probably speaking on the behalf of Dolphin fans, I want to see a shootout because, again, we've seen a lot of games Tua's played in, but we have never seen a shootout that Tua's been in. We haven't seen a 2-minute offense drill that Tua's been a part of, right? We may see that this week for the first time in his career. Seriously. And you said it's going to be a close game. So I think that's a strong possibility that the Dolphins have 2 minutes left or 1 minute left. They're down by a one possession. And Tua has to move the ball down the field. I have mixed thoughts on Tua, but a 2-minute drill is exactly what I need to see to accurately analyze Tua.
I think the Dolphins front office would agree with you.
Yes. Michael, do you agree with Josh in terms of this is going to be a close game?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a close game. I think I know what team I have winning. Predicting. I think I know what team I'm going to predict to win on Sunday morning. Which I just realized it's an early kickoff show this week because we got to get to the stadium. But
what time will it be? 9?
9, I guess.
Enjoy the game, guys.
Yes.
Thank you. It'll be fun. Yeah. Actually, I haven't even checked the forecast for Sunday, but hopefully
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, solid, like 80. I think they said. I think
80,
85.
85.
Yeah,
that's not good or solid, but
the Dolphins are going to have to bring out long sleeve. Too cold for them. I just want to bring this up because I like having fun on the shows. Did you guys by chance see Tyreek Hill's Ray Lewis dance he did on Sunday?
No.
On Sunday, no.
Yeah, he did, and I was trying to find I saw a video on TikTok of it, but I didn't see it on Twitter. But I saw on Twitter, if you look up Tyreek Hill, Ray Lewis, you'll see tweets that he did it, but I don't have a video on Twitter. I have a video on TikTok. Yeah, coming out for introductions, he did a Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis. Okay, I did not know that.
So I wanted to bring that up.
Interesting. I wonder what's the connection there.
He did it. He did it when he was on the Chiefs too, a few years ago. Look it up.
Interesting.
Anyway, that's not going off topic, but yeah. Okay, so I don't necessarily want you guys to give away your team predictions, so I want to go into a few final things. Josh, I want to ask you this: if the Dolphins are losing, and again, this is behind enemy lines, right? I want to hear Ravens' perspective. If the Dolphins are losing in the fourth quarter, what do they need to do to come back in the game? Meaning, what is the Ravens' weakness?
I mean, absolutely. Oh, if they're losing though, I mean, it's just offensively what they got to do is they gotta attack the passing game honestly because the run defense is there, and the secondary is probably our strength, but I don't know about speed. I don't know about the speed. You got to use that Tyreek and Jalen Waddle speed.
Yeah, spread the field.
Because Marlowe's the only guy in that secondary that has the track speed of a Tyreek Hill or a Jalen Waddle. So, not necessarily a secondary, but the speed advantage.
Yeah, like safeties. Attack the safeties then?
Well, I don't know the safeties. I think attack the corners.
Okay. I like it. And yeah, if the Dolphins do that, they could spread the field. And that's where I wish Tua could scramble the ball. Because when you spread the field with Waddle and Tyreek Hill, Gesicki could be open across the middle. Chase Edmonds could be, a receiving back out of the backfield like he was last year. And Tua could even scramble the ball. But again, it's only been 1 week. We haven't seen that. Michael.
Yeah.
Do you agree with Josh in terms of the Ravens' weakness? Obviously, you guys watch the same plays each week, but you guys could have different thoughts.
Well, in terms of weaknesses the Dolphins can exploit, I'm going to be honest here. I haven't really been able to take a good look at the Patriots game from Sunday against the Dolphins.
They look good.
So you're right. So I can't. I mean, I watched the highlights, but I can't tell you exactly what they did right, what they did wrong. Yeah, I'll get in. I mean,
Well, I'll tell you this: Melvin Ingram's a Pro Bowler again.
Yeah, I saw Melvin Ingram had that fumble recovery touchdown. That was in the highlight package. But I will say that Baltimore, their weakness, if you were to put a label on it, which I think it's very because I think the term weakness is strengths. I think it varies on opponent because like you can't just because if the Jets have Breece Hall, Michael Carter, they just looked flat. So, like, if that's the way they're going to play, if they're just
the Jets look awful.
Not running back, if they're just not, like, among the better running backs in the NFL, the Ravens have a great run defense, then they play Derrick Henry, and the Ravens have a horrible run defense. So, 1 week it's their strength, 1 week it's their weakness. So I think, obviously, as every week with the Dolphins, it's going to be the same. You look at the receivers. They're stacked with Waddle and Hill and Gesicki and Wilson.
Stability, though, with speed.
Yeah.
Right. And so what they can do against a team like the Ravens with, I think Gesicki can be used in a very interesting way, but the Ravens also do seem to know how to shut down tight ends. I will say, though, what I noticed about the Ravens, tackling problems, big tackling problems. Everyone had it. Every single player on the defense, it seemed like, missed at least a tackle or two in the Jets game, which is something the Ravens need to clean up. I know a guy that I saw in the beginning missed a few tackles, but then really, really had a good game. For the rest was Patrick Queen, who is among the defensive leaders for the Ravens. So that's something, if they can get away. If they can break tackles, which seems like it's not a very difficult thing to do, then
I agree with that.
I mean, I think the Dolphins win the game if the Ravens don't clean that up.
It wouldn't be a preview show without bringing up Justin Tucker.
No.
I'm not going to ask if he's better than Jason Sanders, so I won't ask that. But what I will ask is, will he play a factor in this game?
He always does.
Okay.
He always does. And the thing is, and we see it every week, and we saw a lot of struggles with kickers in week 1. And Ravens fans, and I've talked about it. Who have I talked about it with? You know what? It was with my friend's dad, who's a Giants fan. And he's just said to me, he said, you have no idea how spoiled you guys are. The fact that you have a kicker, you guys don't even have to watch the kick because you know it's going to go in.
Exactly.
And it's funny because it's true. As for someone like me and Michael, not only has he been here forever, he's been our kicker for our entire football family. So we are used to just
we are spoiled.
The extra point because we know it's going in. Touchdown. All right, we're up 7-0. It's not even a thought.
Yeah.
The extra point might not go in. If we are anywhere in the pass, if we're anywhere past inside the red zone, it's not even a thought that we're not going to get points out of it, because Tuck's going to hit the kick. So You see from Denver last night. I mean,
I think that was because Denver last night is an interesting case because I do think that, and I don't. You know what? I don't blame Hackett. Obviously, listening to what was said post game, I don't blame Hackett at all. I mean, he
said he made the wrong decision.
Well, yeah, obviously he made the wrong decision. He missed the kick.
He said he should have went for it.
In retrospect, yes, obviously he should have went for it because if he would have went for it, he wouldn't have missed the kick.
Well, he thought he was like Justin Tucker.
But Russell Wilson said post game that McManus, they asked him, where do you need to be? We need to be at the 46-yard line. I can hit it from there. They were at the 46-yard line.
Doesn't
matter. He had the leg.
Get closer.
He didn't hit it from there. No, he said the exact yard line that they got to.
Yard line. 2 for 42.
I need the 46-yard line. I need the left hash. If it's a 64-yard kick, I'll make it. He missed it.
2 for 42.
He trusted his players.
2 for 42.
What? The Ravens trust Justin Tucker. So
in NFL history of kicks from 64 yards or longer.
So what? So what? McManus said he can make it. If I would have, and he's
no Justin Tucker.
I would have went for it. But if Brandon McManus came up to me and said, "I can hit it if you put it exactly at the 46 or beyond that, I can kick it. I can hit it for you." I am
still
letting him kick it. No, it's a bigger risk because if McManus says he can hit it, why not let him kick it?
Okay, let's be honest. What kicker is going to say they're not going to make a kick?
There are multiple kickers that are going to say. I think the only kickers that I trust to make a 64-yard field goal that I would confidently. McManus has been in the NFL since 2013. Obviously, Justin Tucker.
Cody Parkey will still go out there and say he's going to.
But I'm not going to trust Cody Parkey to make the kick because I know Cody Parkey can barely make a 20-yard kick.
And that's proving our point, right?
No, it's not.
The coach makes.
Because I know McManus can make that kick because he had the leg to make that kick, and the wind pushed it. He could have made that kick.
That's true. It doesn't mean it was still the right decision.
No, but I don't think it was the wrong decision.
Hey, either way,
there's no right or wrong. It can't be a right or wrong. Obviously, it wasn't the right decision because they did it.
You just said it was wrong then.
No, I didn't because they said they did it. In the moment. But you have to judge it in the moment. You can't judge it now. Looking back at it in retrospect, he missed the damn kick. Obviously, they should have went for it because if they would have went for it, they wouldn't have missed the damn kick. But in the moment, if you would have told me, Brandon McManus told Nathaniel Hackett, told the offense, told Russell Wilson that if you put it at the 46, I will hit it through the uprights. I am trusting McManus. There's a few guys. I think Cade York is climbing up that list, the rookie for the Browns. There's a few guys that I trust to tell me from 55 plus, I'm going to hit this for you. And I truly think Brandon McManus is on that list. And he can be inconsistent at times. But he's been in the league since 2013.
I do have a question for you because I think, again, we're trying to keep it Dolphins and Ravens related. Is Jason Sanders? No, you're fine. Is Jason Sanders on that list?
No, Jason Sanders is not on the list.
Some Dolphin fans
from 55 plus, no, from 40 plus, absolutely.
Some Dolphin fans, again, we're trying to have both perspectives, right? So I'm sure Dolphin fans want other teams' perspectives. Some Dolphin fans think that Jason Sanders should be on that list. So that's why I'm asking.
He's a very good kicker, just not from that length. I've seen it.
Do you put Prater on that list where he is in his career now?
Not anymore.
Obviously Prater has hit from 64 before, so he wasn't on the list before.
Yeah.
But I think it really is only like from 60 plus, from 55 plus. The list is for me. Tucker. I know he was bad this week, but I trust McPherson.
Absolutely, that's not even a question.
McManus from 50. Prater, 55.
And Blankenship.
A little. Blankenship. No, Blankenship, absolutely not. He got cut today.
I know. Boswell.
I'm joking about Blankenship.
Boswell, that's 5. And then Daniel Carlson probably is 6. And then I guess Cade York if you want. That's 7 kickers out of 32 starting NFL kickers that if they come up to me and say, I'm going to hit this for you, I trust them. And from 60, that list is even smaller.
What about Eric Reed?
From
the
Chiefs. Justin Reed?
Justin Reed. My bad. The safety, right? For the Chiefs.
Yeah. Yes, Justin Reed.
Well, he
That's
hit what, a 65-yarder in training camp?
Hit his extra points. Hit his kickoff way back behind the end zone.
He hit a kickoff through the uprights.
Yes, way back
Yeah.
behind the end zone.
We'll see, man. One last question for you guys before we wrap this up. Obviously, you look at it on paper. You say, look, we don't have a lot of evidence of what these teams could do with their new looked rosters. Obviously, the Dolphins offense,
What happened to the team is practically the same.
the defense
kidding.
was.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, the Tua has a lot of
one.
new
That was good.
weapons. That was good. That was good. I'll give him that one. Hey, the Dolphins have a new offensive line, new weapons, but the concern for me is just Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
He is such a good quarterback, but you guys have obviously watched him way more than me. Should Dolphin fans be scared? This
Absolutely.
is definitely not an automatic win, but in my eyes, this could turn into an automatic loss after the first quarter.
We have a tendency to start slow, so maybe after the second quarter.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I want the
Ravens
perspective of a Ravens
The
fan.
Ravens scored 3 points in the first quarter this week.
Yeah, it's pretty good for us, actually.
Yeah, usually it's even less.
See, this is why it's called Behind Enemy Lines. I want to hear the perspective
There
of
you
Raven
go.
fans. And I think Dolphin fans, and this is good for any fan base, you want to know where your team is at in a game, right? You know your team's own abilities. You know what Tua could do down 7. I mean, we don't. We haven't seen it. But you get my point. But
Well, we've seen it. We've seen it both ways. We've seen him succeed. We've seen him fail.
yes, but we don't know what the Ravens could do to Tua besides that performance. And by the way, I still wonder why Brissett started that game. But
Wasn't Tua hurt?
He came in. He played the rest of it. So clearly it
But
wasn't
he was
that hurt.
hurt to start, right? He wasn't supposed to play because he was still in.
hey, Tua's fully healthy.
It was a game time. I remember because I was with Isaac when the decision was made an hour and a half before the game that Brissett was the starter and Tua will be active but will be the backup. And I was surprised.
It sounded like the Dolphins thought Brissett would just do better in the game.
Yeah.
And they were completely wrong.
Yes, because Brissett started off. The Ravens were the better team in that first quarter. And then Tua came in once Brissett got hurt and completely flipped it. Which is why I've always thought he was a promising quarterback. And seeing him in person, I enjoyed watching that performance. He played a better game than the reigning MVP then. So,
He was not the reigning MVP.
oh, he was not. Sorry. The
Former MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. All right, one last
Yeah.
question for you guys. Josh,
Wasn't the
let's see if you can answer this quickly because this can go on to many paths. Should Dolphin fans expect a successful game like last year's game in Miami?
Like last year, absolutely not.
No.
That's
They
all we
should
need to
expect
hear.
a good game.
Yes.
They should not expect anywhere close to what they
They won't be anything like last year because the teams, they play different. The Ravens have a different defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Defensive scheme. The Dolphins changed up roster, personnel, staff. They've done it all. Obviously, their head coach and coaching staff has been completely flipped upside down. So whatever we saw last year, throw it out.
Okay, there you
Two
have it.
different teams tomorrow. Not tomorrow. This Sunday.
Sunday. Yes, or tomorrow for anyone who's watching this. There
Is
you
it
have
coming
it,
out on
guys.
Saturday?
No, but some people may watch it on Saturday.
True.
Yesterday. Good win for us.
Good one for the Dolphins yesterday. Anyway, hey, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you to Josh and Michael for coming on. Josh and Michael run a fantastic TikTok and Twitch page at the Next Network. Definitely follow them. Josh and Michael, you want to plug yourself because you guys do terrific NFL content. I know Dolphin fans may not like Ravens content, but they put out everything sports related.
First of all, Isaac, thank you for doing that, for having us on. I've known you for a long time, so this has been fun. We'll do this again, and we have done this before. But the Next _ Network on pretty much every social media that you think we'd be on. So the Twitch, the Twitters, the Instagram, TikTok, obviously. Don't have the next Snapchat. Yes, we have our own ones, which we're not going to plug. I have a LinkedIn. Both do. Be real. As well. So there you go.
Good stuff.
Not quite in the Facebook and was it MySpace realm?
Not quite. Not quite.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Not quite yet. Maybe make a comeback one day.
Yeah. Josh, anything else to promote, my man?
No, I think we're good, man. This is fun. I enjoyed doing it.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm sure everyone watching appreciated the in-depth analysis. Again, I love doing this. You get two perspectives, right? Dolphin fan perspective and the away team's perspective, which in this case is a Ravens fan. And it's kind of good that, we had a Dolphins-Ravens game recently. And
Yes.
we could kind of relate to it, but on the other hand, we kind of cannot relate to it. But look, this is a great preview show. And everyone make sure to check out flteams.com, your go-to one-stop shop for all Florida sports coverage. We'll see what happens on Sunday. The Ravens hosting the Dolphins. Josh and Michael, have fun at the game. It's your home opener. I did not know that, but now I do. And now I think Dolphin fans should expect a lot of high energy because we know the first home game of the season is always the most exciting. It's that different energy, right? I mean, Josh and Michael, you haven't gone to a football game in a few months because it's been the off season. So it's always that different feel week one. I know it's week 2, but it's practically week 1 because it's the first home game.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Good stuff, guys. Again, Isaac Edelman here with Josh Berman and Mike Mirskiy. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Fins up, and I guess go Ravens, whatever your slogan is.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of your night, guys.
Flock.
Yeah.